Welcome everyone to another JDM racing video. This time it's at round 6 in Spain at the Circuit de Catalunya, as we are here ready to kick off qualifying 1, and that's coming up next.
Got 2 laps of fuel left.
A decent lap then, but that only gets us into 11th. Michael Schumacher, our teammate, up in 9th, and Lando Norris topping the session. So McLaren look like they've got a good car around this track. Keen to try and make up for that 11th place finish in Q1. We are really looking to put the hammer down in Q2 to see if we can really try and put the pressure on the top guys. We've got a very decent car this season. We know we've won a few races already, so we really want to be trying to put the pressure on Leclerc and Ferrari and get up that top end ready for Sunday. Can we manage it? Let's see. So we sneak into 8th place. Leclerc fastest, so we weren't able to put that much pressure on, but we do go through. Michael, however, drops out in 13th. Similar story to Q2 then, Leclerc fastest and alongside his teammate on the front row. We were able to keep up with Mercedes in the beginning parts of Q3, but we end up dropping to about 7th, so that's going to be difficult to keep up with Leclerc.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture on the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. It's a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today as we await lights out for the 730-metre sprint down into Turn 1. This is a 2.9-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through the 16 corners, but there's still a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out Turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of Turn 9. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Hamilton, Max Verstappen and Perez, Gardner, Norris, Ricciardo and Valtteri Bottas, Vettel, Michael Schumacher, Lance Stroll and Gasly, Magnussen, Mick Schumacher, Daniel Ticktum and Yuki Tsunoda, Albon, Joe, Ocon and Nicholas Latifi. And now it's time to head down to the track. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat is Natalie Pinkham. Now, our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching for as they go down into Turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get a clean start. And this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space. And finding your braking point into Turn 1 as well. It's testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
Right then, so here we are on the grid, tucked in behind the top 3 teams, who are all side by side on the front 3 rows. And the pace that the McLaren showed, it kind of evaporated. I mean, they are just behind us on the grid in 8th and 9th, but they don't look as quick as Lando Norris showed in Q2. So it looks like normal service resumed at the front with the top 3 teams. Leclerc and that Ferrari package, as we've already mentioned, extremely fast. It's going to be very difficult for us to overcome them today. But I'm hoping with the right race strategy and the right kind of race management, we can hopefully get somewhere near the podium if things fall our way. If not, maybe a top 5 if we can get things going, again, like I said, our way. Let's find out. As the lights go out, then we get a pretty decent initial getaway. Then the Red Bull's straight line speed starts to come in. We're already on the ERS boosting. We just get on the brakes a little bit earlier because we want to get the line and take Max and Sergio Perez through that first couple of turns. Now trying to lock in behind the Mercedes. Replay of the start then. Charles Leclerc on your right, Carlos Sainz on your left. Both Ferraris look like they get decent getaways as well, with Mercedes breathing right down the neck. Leclerc coming across to the inside to cover his teammate, and as that put him at risk to George Russell. Russell trying to move down the inside, the switchback happens and Sainz keeps second, so Ferrari maintain the 1-2 and have control of this race. Mercedes looking very feisty though in the first couple of turns. As we rejoin the JDM on board, and we take a look at Lewis Hamilton but can't make the move stick, so we live to fight another day. And now our attention is turned to trying to keep one eye on the Red Bulls behind us, as we are just looking to settle in on this first lap. We've had a little look, but unless an opportunity presents itself, we're just going to bide our time, I think, and sit behind the Mercedes with a look and a view to potentially pouncing a bit later on.
Okay, we're monitoring some wear on the internal combustion engine. Be aware that we're going to start to see a loss of power.
And the opportunity did come along. We thought he was going a bit slow down the straight, and with the ERS we could attack him, and that's what we did. And joining Michael Schumacher on board at the end of lap 1, he's in a tussle with Daniel Ricciardo for the lower points paying positions and gets the move done into turn 1. Fantastic from the sister JDM car there. Michael Schumacher moving up. We spent a little while following George Russell in the second Mercedes. We already managed to get past Hamilton pretty early on, and now we're taking big chunks of curb, unsettles the car as we come onto the start-finish straight. And now with DRS, we're going to try and close down George Russell, because we need to get onto those Ferraris, as they are just running away with this race at the moment. Into lap 7 then, and we get a nice run on George Russell, the DRS. We nip down the outside and get the move done into turn 1. Now we can focus forward onto the Ferraris. That was a key move to let us get on with it. And end of lap 7, the reigning defending world champion Charles Leclerc and the race leader, number 1 on the car there. Fairly routine stop, mediums go on as the Red Bull pits behind. So Charles Leclerc will be looking to come out, hopefully in some free air, so that he does not lose any time to his teammate or the JDM. We can see that Leclerc is coming in, so we're going to have to push like crazy on this in-lap to make sure that we try and get as close to him on the undercut. Well, he's undercutting on the overcut that we're doing, and see if we can grab a place. Schumacher pits as well. He's having a good race in the lower regions of the points, 8th, 9th, 10th. That's his kind of battle today. Not managing to keep on pace with the teammate, but the stop is pretty competitive. Mediums go on, didn't look like there was any issues there, and straight out behind the Red Bull and the Mercedes, so Schumacher right in the thick of it. As we rejoin on board, and we decide to come in and make our pit stop. Let's see how this pans out. So Leclerc a bit further down, as you can see on the left hand side of your screen there, and Sainz coming in as well. So Sainz pits. He will be fighting with his teammate on the exit for the lead of the race, or the net lead of the race, as we turn in to make our stop. We had a bit of a lead on us. So there is Leclerc just behind the Aston Martin, and Sainz is going to rejoin just behind Charles Leclerc. So Ferrari resume 1 and 2, no changes there. We couldn't make the overcut work.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
And whilst we were worrying about getting on terms with the Ferraris, George Russell has snuck up behind us, so we have to try and defend that position before we even think about trying to close down the Ferraris. So we get out in front of Russell, but now we've got to try and pull that gap and get him out of DRS. So as we work to try and get Russell outside of our DRS, Charles Leclerc sets the fastest lap, and we blitz that and take the fastest lap away from the Ferrari.
The car behind is dropping back by about 3/10 a lap. Well done.
So for the next 6 laps we were in defensive mode, just trying to keep this podium position away from the Mercedes. Ferrari, we are not on terms with them today. They were way too fast for us. So barring any kind of miracle here on the last lap, I suspect it will be a Ferrari 1-2, but the real fight is the one like that we've got going on now for 3rd and 4th between ourselves and George Russell. This is what we've been fighting for pretty much half the race distance. So let's see how this pans out for the rest of the lap. Here is our race leader, Charles Leclerc, then, coming across the last couple of corners. And Charles Leclerc will cross the line to win the Spanish Grand Prix for Ferrari.
And P1.
Yes! Let's go, come on, yes! Amazing. The car was incredible today, really. Well done, guys. What a race and what a pace, I mean.
Well, mate, I can't complain about that one. That was an excellent drive.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Ferrari today. So, Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again.
Ferrari then, Charles Leclerc with his third win of the season and Ferrari's first 1-2 of the season. Carlos Sainz has been having a bit of a rough time of it, but he'll be glad to be up there on the podium with his teammate. Snuck the fastest lap point at the end as well, in pursuit of his teammate. It was a close finish, but not anywhere near as close as ourselves and George Russell. Results time then. As we mentioned, Charles Leclerc, third win of the season. He goes top of the Drivers' Championship, I would assume, with that. Sainz following in second, so and less than a second behind, so very, very close finish between the two Ferrari drivers. We come home third, so we get a decent haul of points and don't lose too much in terms of damage limitation to Ferrari today. But we just weren't fast enough. Their package was immense around this racetrack. George Russell pushed us hard for that last podium slot at the end, but he has to settle for fourth. Max Verstappen, fifth in front of Lewis Hamilton and Sergio Perez. Michael Schumacher, eighth, so he gets 4 points for JDM. That's a big, big bonus to get a double points finish for ourselves. McLaren, 9th and 10th, so they do get a double points finish, but weren't able to translate the pace that they had in Q2. As for the championship, Charles Leclerc is at the top of the leaderboard. Lewis Hamilton, 22 points behind, and we are 25 points behind, so our consistency in finishing on the podium is paying dividends for us in the Drivers' Championship. Ferrari take over at the top, whereas Mercedes and Red Bull second and third. We are fourth. Hope you've enjoyed this video today. Join us next time for Charles Leclerc's home race at Monaco. See you then.